We are back. Okay, so this is a clear example as to why you don't go higher than 5x leverage. We've seen another dip. Unfortunately, another dip. I really, I didn't think we were going to see another one, but it looks like the momentum is quite bearish still. There's loads of reasons why these dips are happening. If you watch Cryptosaurus' stream, I recommend you do, because he goes over a lot of the latest things that are going on as to why these things are happening. One is that Grayscale are selling their Bitcoin. One is that miners are selling their Bitcoin before the halving to potentially buy more equipment for their mining after the halving kicks in. But those are all sort of things that are happening. They are trackable events on the blockchain, and coupled with a lot of fear, but obviously manipulation as well from the whales, and probably numerous other factors as well. There's so many factors that go into crypto, not just those things. But yeah, I do recommend you watch his stream. He does cover in the first 20 minutes or so the things that are happening in the day. Yeah, you probably are already. I don't know why I'm even saying it, but yeah, for these updates for the thing I'm doing, I'm probably not going to be using my camera very often, because I just find it a bit pointless, because these will just be sort of updates and things like that. It's just and that's half the time I need to use my phone when I'm actually recording a video, but there we are. But I'm sure you don't mind. But anyway, kicking on. Yeah, this is another reason. This is why you don't use more than 5x leverage. 10x max, like literally max, because this drop is a significant one. If you're using leverage, if you're just buying and holding, then it's absolutely fine. You don't have anything to worry about. But when you are leverage trading, then it's a bit of a different story, because you are more or less relying on the price 24/7. On the last video, I showed you two platforms that I was going to potentially be using, and I'm going to be using only one of them, which is going to be Apex Pro. There are reasons why I'm not going to be using Drift. I do still like Drift, but the issue I have with Drift is, like I touched on, the network keeps dropping, and because you are relying on on this platform, you are more or less relying on other people's trades for them to kick in to help pay your fees, your leverage, from how I've understood it anyway. Then that showed my unsettled P&L here as minus 40 at one point, and I then closed it because my position got filled up here, right? It was around here or whatever. I filled my order, and that minus 40 stayed there. And I went on a Discord and said, what's going on? Is that gone forever because I've settled it? Question mark? Like what? And they said, no, it will come back. And then I was like, it's not come back yet. It's not moving. It's not coming back to zero. And then I asked again, and then someone else replied saying, yeah, that's basically gone. Another mod said it's gone. I was like, what? How? Why? Mainly. So I'm not going to be using that anymore for that reason, because it's really odd. It's quite hard to figure out. And if it happens where you are trading and you are more or less going with other people's trades, that it puts you in a negative, even though the trade was profitable and I came out negative, that's a horrible experience. So I'm not going to be using them, and I'm going to be using Apex Pro. And they don't have that system. They don't have that at all. It's just literally the way it should be. So that's my little story there. So avoid that one. Well, I'm sure it might work out better if it went better or something else changed. I don't even know what happened really. And then I tried to figure it out, and then it was just too much of a headache to actually figure out, because the explanation on their document was hard to understand. So I just moved away from that completely and thought, sod that. I'll just move over to this one completely, because this one does what I want it to do. Yeah, if you're using more than 5x, then you were panicking yesterday for sure. And because I'm using 20x, sorry, not 20x, 5x, it gives me a 20% room for error. So as you can see, my entry was at 100, let's just say completely 100. So 100 here was my entry, and my liquidation price is 80.72, so it's here. If you were to do 10x leverage, then your liquidation price would be 90, because it's a 10% difference if you're using 10x. And if you were using 15x, even higher, right? You would have already got liquidated. So this is why I'm using 5x for these sorts of situations that I knew would potentially happen, which of course would always happen because the markets are always so volatile. So when it came down to here, like 92, if it was a 10x leverage, I would be almost sweating inside, right? Like, oh my god, this is happening, I'm going to get liquidated. But because that's the sort of mentality I would have in my mind, like, oh my god. But because I've got a liquidation price of 80, instead my mentality was like, oh god damn it, it's gone down. You know, it's a lot less of a worry, because I know that it's not going to drop too much further. However, with a 10x leverage, I know that the potential here to come down to 90 was very, very near, very dangerous. That is why I really strongly advise you do not use more than 5x. For this reason, this is the perfect example. This could have had the position liquidated, and that was for, I think this one is like $600. So I'm gonna wait. And what I'm doing, so yeah, that could have been liquidated if it was a 10x, close to it, very close to it. So yeah, so this is a 5x, like $600 or so, right? As you can see, I'm minus 25%. So if I was plus 25%, you can see how much I would earn here, right? It goes either way. But so when the market comes back up, I'm going to get out of this position fairly quickly, and I've set my limit order to come out of this position at 101, because I'm ready now to put in the full amount of 1,000 and start this thing, get this thing going, get this journey on the way. There and back again, A Hobbit's Tale by Bilbo Baggins. Of course, 100k, that's the ultimate goal, but it's just for a target. If I can get 50 grand, 60 grand, that would be wonderful. Anything above 50 grand, that would be a fantastic bonus. But I think you see the point why I put 100. 100 is like the top tier target. That would be lovely if things go my way, then it would work out. But you know, 50 grand and up, that is more than doable, in my opinion, because it just would be, because if you're compounding it back in and you're using 5x leverage, it's very achievable. And that's what I want to stress into this video, is how dangerous leverage is. And if you're going to apply this, only apply 5x, because you don't want to get wrecked. And you know, being 25% down right now, I'm not too concerned. If it was to drop to 88, I would start to be a bit concerned, because we're in the 80s and my liquidation price is 80. But you know, if you look out, zoom out on the time frame here, we've not been under, this is Solana by the way, I'm not using Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything like that. So we've not been, the lowest point was 3rd of January at 86, and I can't remember what happened there at all. I can't remember what happened there. Oh, I think that was that, wasn't that random dump midweek, I think, at one point. I remember that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not too concerned at all with my position. I'm only $5 down from my entry point, so I've still got $15 to go. The point I'm trying to emphasize is that there's a massive room for error, and the more higher leverage you have, if it's more than 5, then the liquidation price is going to come up and up and up the higher you go, and you don't want that. You really do not want that. And with this as well, I put this on yesterday morning, and ever since, of course, it went down. That's been the last 24 hours, unfortunately, because as you can see where I got my entry in here, this was not really expected. The trend was going up on the 4 hour, just like quite volatile, yes, but the trend was going upwards. And on my indicators here, all the moving averages were below the price, so everything was moving upwards. on the 4 hour anyway. So that's one way. That's another way I get into trades. I look at the moving averages. If they're all below the price, like here, if they're below the market and the candle is above, then it's likely that the trend will continue. But because of the dump, randomly, again, well, not randomly, we know partially the reasons, but an unexpected dump. Wasn't expecting it really. Then, of course, we went down, and that just delays things. That's another point I want to mention as well, is that when you're doing leverage, you need to be so patient with what's going on in the markets and just wait. You have to wait on these things. I got in yesterday and I've been stuck down here, and the longer I've been doing this, in a way, I've not been doing it very long, but the more days you have on it, the more you pick up, and the more sort of the realization to expectations to goal achievements become a lot more stretched out and far out, meaning you need to be very patient for just a single trade. As you can see, I'm closing this one out, and I'm not going to be making much profit at all on this one, but I think it's about $4, which is fine. $4. The reason I'm doing that is just so I can throw more money into this to then start the 1,000 as a whole, like start it, so that's why I'm doing that. I could of course put the price back up here or up here, but want to just get it done just in case, because there's a lot of resistance on Solana around this area, the 102 to 104 and the 98 and 100, so it's very just sort of choppy. Those are my quick sort of tips when you see the market fluctuate like this and unexpected dumps like this. Be very, very patient if you're in a position like this, and give yourself some breathing space. Don't always look at the charts as well, because they don't always move. Yes, we saw a dump like this very quickly, but not much is going to happen today probably. We're just going to be probably floating around this area still. We're trending upwards a bit from the dump, which is nice, but maybe 97 by the end of the day. That's being very positive. Can't see much happening today. And yeah, so patience is a very important skill or attribute. That's not even a skill. It's what you need to apply. You need a lot of patience with this. Lowering your leverage so you don't have to sweat, so you don't have to worry, so you don't have to be trying to fall asleep in bed and then you're just looking at your chart or just your watch list on all your cryptos. It's not worth it. So if you know that the chart and the price is not going to drop 20%, like me, I know it's not going to drop to 80 overnight or in a day or two. Well, hopefully, right? I'm pretty sure. I say this now, it's going to drop, right? It's going to happen. So yeah, just give yourself more of a comfort zone. So 5x gives you 20% of leeway. So if it drops to 80, which is 20%, a 20% drop, then I will get liquidated. And apply patience, and then that's the way to do it. And then compound your profits into the next trade, and then continue that pattern, and it should be successful. If you do that throughout the year, then you're going to see the profits rise and rise and rise. Of course, 100k is a ridiculous target, but it's just a target. It's the pinnacle for me. That's that. If I put 10,000, if I put 1,000 to 10,000, it's not really. It's something I would rather do and not do videos about it. It's just one of those things. But if I'm just doing this and I'm, pushing content on the channel, then 100k is a bit of a, wow, sort of, you're going to try and get that? Well, I doubt it, but good luck, mate. That sort of thing. But yes, but at the same time, when you're doing videos about it, if I'm going to put 1 to 10,000k, 10k, then it's just such a, it's a very mundane sort of target. It's just boring. Like, it's the easiest word to use. It's a boring number. Whereas 100k, damn, that's something special. So I will be using Apex Pro for this one. I will leave a link to this one if you decide to use this. Be very careful. Only use 5x. They only go up to 15. So 15 is the max. I think maybe if you go on, I think BTC might be 20. I'm not sure. Oh, 30. But yeah, don't do that. I just wanted to check, double check. But yeah, I'm using Solana on this. They got a bunch of different ones as well. All the top tier ones, All the top tier ones, mostly anyway. So yeah, as you can see, USDT is in beta stage at the moment. So they've only got a few. So USDC is where it's at on this one. Be careful if you decide to do it, because it's super risky. And yeah, hopefully we can recover. The markets can recover from this drop. We seem to be doing the same sort of trend again. We dropped down here, and then we slowly came back up to this area here. I think that's the same as BTC, right? Pretty much. I mean, it's got any hourly actually on this one. I mean, yeah, we dropped down quite heavily here, and then more or less instantly came back up. It's taking a longer time to do it here because the support has been broken through, but we are gradually coming back up. We're accumulating and we're rising again. So hopefully the price comes back up and then things will work out. I can't see it going down much more. I mean, I said that in the last video, and look where we are. We're down again, but I think we'll get back up to a sort of 42k, and then we can start, accumulating again properly. Be in that accumulation stage. If we look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart, which is always fun to look at, we are in right now. We're in accumulate, and then I think earlier. I think we almost touched the still cheap. I think last week when we got to 49k. But yeah, we're still, according to this, incredibly early. So alright. Yeah, so that's the video. That's a little update. I will be using Apex Pro for this 1000 to 100k. And we'll go from there. Let's see if I can get a good amount of profit before the end of the month. Let's see where we are at before the end of the month's out. Hopefully this trade can close in the next 2 days, and then I can get in with that full 1000. And because I'm compounding, I'm making 5%, right? So 5% of the leverage position. So the leverage position would be a 5x. So I'm making 5%. Close that position, get the profits, and then compound that profit into the next trade. I mean, man, this is like some serious, powerful shit. It's powerful. The more you think about it, each trade is just getting compounded. It's like going up the stairs gradually, but powerfully. It's some solid system. If you stick to that, 5x, 20% room for error. It's very likely that it's going to work out. I mean, 20%, yeah, it could drop 100%, but not really with the blue chips. I mean, with Bitcoin as well and Ethereum, you've got a lot more room for error if you're doing higher leverage like 10x or 15x. Because Bitcoin dropping 10% is very unlikely, but when all this volatility goes away, it's a less likely. Bitcoin usually is such a sideways crypto. It's so dull, right? It's considered the boring one, but not at the moment. But even that, be careful if you're using more than 10 or 15 or more. You can get liquidated. Even if you know what you're doing, you don't expect these drops, and that's why people get liquidated. Millions, even the experts, like the proper people who have been doing this for years and years. It's crazy. So that's why I'm not taking any chances with this. I'm going to start off strong and disciplined and stick to that plan. And if you're going to do something similar, I suggest you do the same, in a sense where you're applying a sort of strict regime and plan, because it's only going to stick and work out if you do that. If you think, oh, I'll do a 10x today, try my luck, and then it really goes against you, you're going to be beating yourself up hard. Really, really are. So bear that in mind as well. Don't let your confidence or your I'll try my luck because it's the weekend mentality destroy any plans you have. That's another tip, because I've had that as well. I think, oh, I'll do a 20x just to, because I can see the momentum. But it's dangerous, so don't do that. Do not. Alright, well, that's the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Yeah, still positive about this. Apex Pro is the way to go. Yeah, just wait for this position to close, and then kick on. Alright, I'll see you on the next one.